So honest to goodness, I was afraid to start the business because really in my family, no one had a business as a full-time thing. Like my parents, my father and my mom, they always had side hustles. Like my dad was an electrician, but he worked for the MTA. So he could, he could take on jobs at people's homes and things like that. And then my mother, she worked at a bank, but she had she loved real estate. So she would, dabble in a little real estate here and there. And so I think that I get, so it comes, I think the need to be in entrepreneurship, I get it honest, but I would say that um I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I didn't want to go back to work for
Yeah,
anybody,
yeah.
right? I'll be honest. And so I was started talking to my daughter about things, and one day I saw a story on the TV about Styles P owning a juice bar in Yonkers, and I was motivated, sort of like how we're doing here today. I was motivated by it, shocked by it actually, right? That a rapper,
Mhm.
would have taken steps like that to open up a juice bar. I had never heard anything like that. And so I thought to myself, if Styles P can open up a juice bar, I'm a Howard University educated individual, right? I've worked my whole life. I should be able to cobble something together. And with the help of my daughter Jade, we sat down, we got on LegalZoom. I went to visit people at SCORE and the SBA and the SBDC at York College, and we got the paperwork done. Okay. And then myself, and my son, we established the Nourish Spot together. And opened it up on September 9th, 2017. It took us a little over a year once we got the paperwork set and then to do the build out and everything. But we got it open. And I would be honest, when I got it open, then that's when the tension and the afraidness of the fear really stepped in, because now I have a real business with a key to open the door. And I wasn't sure what a balance sheet was. I wasn't sure, what a profit and loss statement was. I didn't know any of those things, right? I didn't really know about pricing. And so that's when I realized I had to go learn things. And luckily, I had your program and a couple of other programs that were available to me. And I learned. And again, here we are 8 years later.
Yeah, yeah. And on that, touching on that point, what were some of the challenges of building the Nourish Spot with a family member? A lot of our in our network, they go to business, they get into business with a family member. So what were some of those challenges and how did you overcome those?
Well, we still have challenges. I won't say that we don't. So let me back this up a little bit. I am a divorcee. I raised my two children, Owen, who's now 36, I think, and my daughter Jade, who's in her 30s. I raised them together, but it was us, and we called ourselves Three the Hard Way, and we pretty much did everything together. So when I decided that I was going to open up a business, I didn't even think. Right. And I'll be honest, I didn't even think about asking them, are you going to be part of this? Like, I just assumed, because we've done everything together forever, it's like they're just going to be part of the business because they're my legacy. Right. And so I'm going to pull them in some shape, way, or form. And so what I did was I played to their strengths. Okay. My son is a graphic designer, and he liked to hold the money too. Right. So I allowed him to come up with the logo for the Nourish Spot. Right. And then also I gave him the money to go buy all our appliances. We went out, we looked for everything together, he and I, and then I set him up with an account and with the money, and it's your job to manage all of the appliances getting to the Nourish Spot when we need them. And so he managed that because at that time he was in logistics. He was working for UPS. So that's
Okay.
really what he did. So I played to his strength. And then with my daughter Jade, who I'm still in the business with up till today. She is a hospitality expert. She's worked for I was getting ready to say planes, but I mean trains, but she hasn't worked for trains. She's worked for planes. She's worked on ships. She's worked in restaurants. She's worked at the Masters. So she worked at Disney. So my daughter, she actually has the skills and the knowledge about running a restaurant, running a hospitality a business. And so and me, I was the lady with the money, right? And the corporate expertise and the relationships, right? So I knew how to build relationships and things like that. And then I knew how to do the PR and marketing, right? I could do that with my eyes closed. So I think that we had back to Three the Hard Way, we had the best team, right, to get the store open. And together on September 9th, 2017, which was 2 years to the day that my job was eliminated, me, Owen, and Jade cut the ribbon to open the door to the store. And the challenges we face now is just figuring out how to still be mother and daughter and and son, and also CEO and CFO, right? And COO. So we're working through it. We're working through it. Some days I would say it's much easier now than it used to be. Because we do have borders and parameters, and I know how to say good morning and good afternoon and not just jump into stuff. But I love it. So I would say there's not a problem that we could have that I'm not willing to work through, because these are my children, right? This is why I'm here. My life, I've enjoyed my life, and part of the enjoyment of my life is my children. And so setting them up to be successful, that I can't even tell you how that makes me feel. It's right up there with helping my community and all the people in my community be healthier and live longer lives.